Hello, everyone. Welcome to C-Suite Talks. We speak with industry leaders, introducing you to some of the most interesting people and businesses today. We are focused on women, money, and power, as well as diversity in all areas. Welcome to C-Suite Talks. I'm Dianne Gubin, co-CEO, along with...
Hi, I'm Beth Helbing, co-CEO of C-Suite. And this week we have Natalie with us. And Natalie McCue is VP of Environmental Affairs at one of the market-leading renewable energy companies, Pattern Energy Company. She possesses a deep knowledge and experience in development and permitting of wind, solar, and transmission projects across North America. She has extensive experience managing environmental, permitting, and compliance issues related to diverse, complicated infrastructure projects. Welcome, Natalie.
Welcome, Natalie.
Thanks, Diane. Thanks, Beth. Really appreciate it.
And Natalie's also a member of C-Suite, so thank you for that.
Great. Nice to be with you guys today. Really appreciate it.
So Natalie, tell us, you know what, you have a big job, but let's talk about what does Pattern Energy Company do? Like, what is your overarching mission?
Yeah, so our motto is, change the world to renewable energy, right? So we are a leading development owner operator for wind, transmission, solar projects. So, we get in the ground, we develop these projects, we get the consultants, get them built, and long-term owner operator, and really, also focusing on new technologies as well that are coming related to battery storage, green hydrogen, all those cool things. But I think in the world of the challenging climate challenges we're facing today, hopefully we can help offset some of those issues.
Wow. Give us a sense, how many states are you in? Because I looked at it, there was a big map, like.
Oh yeah, I mean we're pretty much all over. Really the continental U.S. Is really key. A lot going on in California, Texas, a lot of solar in the Southeast we're working on. So really kind of a wide range of projects we're working on throughout the U.S.
And roughly how many employees are you? Just so we get
we're about around 550 right now.
Nice. Growing, it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely continuing to grow. So good company.
And you've been there about 22 years. So tell us a little bit about your journey to get in, that you went on to get to Pattern Energy, and then what interested you in this sector of business as well.
Yeah. And what made you stay so long?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it really was kind of a unique situation. I found my way into this industry space even before graduating college. So it all started with me answering a simple ad in my college paper. I graduated from the University of Houston when I was there, to come in and work with a startup company at the time. My boss at the time, was really interested in renewables. He came from the oil and gas background. He went and visited Spain, saw a wind farm, was very just inspired, and was like, I want to start my own wind company. Came back, got investors. So I started working with him part-time, really just kind of on the development side, talking to landowners, negotiating land leases, and kind of while I loved that industry, kind of building clean energy projects, I didn't really necessarily feel at the time that I had kind of found my niche yet. So, I was planning to leave the company. Felt like it was time for me to move on. And my boss, he sat me down. He's like, I really don't want you to go. Is there any aspect of what we're doing here that really does excite you and bring you interest? And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? The environmental permitting aspect of what we're doing really interests me. He's like, okay, well, that's your new job. Why don't you figure it out? You get all the permits from needed to build these projects. You manage the environmental surveys and complete whatever federal, state, local consultations we need that are required. And so I rolled up my sleeves. I did. I loved it. And it really kind of truly became my passion and my career. And so, while there have been kind of different buyouts of the company, we moved on and became Pattern. I have been with that same kind of team of people for those 23 years.
Well, that speaks very well of the management, and that's great that they gave you that opportunity. And so what does Pattern what does pattern energy involve, and what do you have to do in the permitting area?
Right, right. It sounds
Yeah.
like you work with a lot of municipalities.
Yeah, I do. So, basically, on the development side, we basically get all the permits needed to build these projects. So that is working with all local agencies, county, zoning. There could be state environmental permitting processes that you have to go through. If you're building on federal lands like Bureau of Land Management, you're going to have to go through a NEPA process, which is the National Environmental Policy Act process. So there's so many layers depending on what state you go through of the permits that you need to build these projects. We also work a lot with evaluating consultants for environmental surveys. So we're always doing surveys to assess avian species, bat species, impacts to critical habitat. It's very, very important for us when we're developing these projects that we understand kind of what those environmental impacts are and how we are going to mitigate those impacts. So there's just a lot of players involved in getting these from start to finish. And once you get those permits, we lead into, I oversee construction. We have a construction compliance arm as well, just making sure that we are complying with all of our permits as well, doing reporting. And then we have an operations arm on the environmental side that manages all of the operating facilities as well, and monitoring kind of our impacts there as well, and doing the good thing at producing our good renewable energy. So it's definitely an exciting company and exciting career path.
So
That's
in
wonderful.
many ways, are you a manufacturing company in some ways? Like, are you building your own wind, solar, etc.?
We kind of we develop the projects, and then we would hire. We would buy the wind turbines or buy the facility. So we don't have a manufacturing arm, but we'd buy those, hire the consultants to build the project, bring in the equipment, the manufacturing, and then we'd be long-term owner operators of those projects. So in Houston, we have our kind of 24/7 operating assets arm that keeps an eye on all the projects 24/7 that are currently operating.
Were you a chem engineering major or engineering major?
No, I was actually a political science degree. So, I kind of just fell into this and self-taught. So just figuring out along the way.
Terrific. So just being a female in this industry and having personally worked in energy, it's all guys. So are you usually the only woman in the room, or do you find that more women are coming into this space?
Well, you kind of saw back in the emergence of renewables in like the 80s and 90s. You're really seeing it out in kind of California and the Altamont and Texas, and you kind of saw a bigger boom in the 2000s. But when I started in 2001, it was still a very male-dominated industry sector. You were seeing people kind of jump from oil and gas, and I remember they had a yearly wind power conference, and there was only a handful of females there. It was pretty intimidating to me at the time, being in my mid-20s. But, over the years, I think you've definitely started to see an increase in women in the sector, specifically even in my area of expertise on the permitting front. But it is a work in progress. I think we are, still trying to break out of those stereotypical, gender norm roles. I remember early in my career, one of my women colleagues I worked with, she was going to go attend a meeting with a potential project partner, and she took along with her junior male counterpart, and they all went to greet him and mentioned that he was glad that he brought someone along to take notes. So there's kind of those situations that we dealt with early on in our career. But today it feels a lot better. I think individual companies are really taking the initiative to try and attract women into this workforce, looking at promoting, within to fill these senior positions. And I definitely have seen the progress, but that being said, I still think women are definitely underrepresented at all levels of the renewable energy industry.
Yes, for sure. So you're going to be taking a break soon. You told us before this all started. So let me ask you, where do you sit functionally within the organization, and have you hit your personal glass ceiling, or is there room for you to expand?
Yeah, definitely still room to expand. We have kind of set up pattern is it is kind of a fairly flat organization, but we do have an executive management team above me. So I'm kind of the VP level, but then we have senior VP executives as well. So still room for me to grow, to get, work towards that executive team position and past that always, always key on finding your way to getting on boards as well. So,
So do they assign you stretch goals, or what do they do to help shape you for that next level?
Yeah, our company is really good. They've always continued to offer us a lot of different kind of like trainings as well. Lots of different affinity networks within our company. Really kind of always like I said, looking to promote within. So my company has really been a good leader in that industry of diversity and inclusion and bringing women to the workforce and giving us those opportunities to ensure we do continue to kind of have the
Yes,
opportunity to go down
for
that path.
sure. And Natalie, you're in such a growth global industry, and I
Right.
know, and I know this from a very high level. Aren't there all these tax credits coming out from the Department of Energy for companies like yours? Because the government, we want to expand what we're doing within your space.
Yeah, there is. It does change from year to year, the tax credits that come out, but there's a lot of good opportunities right now in that area for sure that really help us to get these projects developed, get them in the ground, and get more renewables in the ground. I mean, that's the way that we're going to be able to try and offset some of climate change. So we need continued kind of help, assistance from the government to have those opportunities for us to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I know as a consumer, I hear grumblings all the time from all my peers and friends about the cost of energy and the increase and so forth. But you
Or
have
the
to pay
blackouts.
for the
Wait. Forget the cost. I don't mind paying. Just keep them on.
yeah, you have to pay to put that change that infrastructure out, right?
Right.
So, what are the pros and cons you have with staying with the one company you've been with for 23 years, as opposed to pursuing different opportunities? Have you
Yeah.
felt that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would have to say that I think it's going to vary from person to person is kind of what you see as the best opportunity for yourself. For me, I think I was very fortunate, to get in with the startup company at the time that, as they did evolve through different buyouts, but as I grew, the company grew too. They grew with me and it kind of became like a little family. So, I think you see it's pretty common in the industry today to hop around, find new
Mm-hmm.
opportunities, many times that you can find, salary increase and that's great if you find that right fit and that opportunity. I would say that I think it's, really important to be with a company that if you are going to stay with, that they do recognize and support your loyalty, that they reward your loyalty to that company. And then, ensure that where you're at, that you do have an opportunity to keep learning, to keep growing, to keep moving up within that company. I think if you see that stop, then it's probably time to move on. But I've been lucky that I still find opportunities to move up within my company. I am still learning, with all these new technologies coming in, like I mentioned earlier, battery storage, green hydrogen, we're all just trying to figure it out and we're just trying to keep up. So my day-to-day job is still very exciting and lucky to be with a great company as well.
Right. Plus, I think your projects are so long that that's part of your longevity too, is they need
Oh
you
yeah.
there because these things take years.
They take
And
years. I mean,
complicated.
just to get it permitted, I mean, you're talking 3 years, 4 years just to get your permits to start construction, and then another, a year to 24 months to construct, and then your operation. So they do take quite a bit of time to get going, built, and operating and in the ground.
So you're in New York. Is the headquarters in New York or just a
No, we
branch?
actually have our kind of main offices are in Houston and San Francisco. So Houston is
Okay.
our development and operations area, and then San Francisco is kind of more of our corporate back office function. And then we just have other offices, construction in San Diego. We have a Toronto office, and a few others around the country. to support.
Well, you may have to be in San Francisco June 27th because we're having a C-suite event at the Wine Society.
I think I actually am in San Francisco.
Okay, so I'm going to that one, and then you can meet me
I
in
think
person.
I am.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that one. I'm pretty sure I actually am in San Francisco that week.
Yeah, we're so blessed. We have amazing women across the country, including
That's
you.
great.
Yeah.
That is wonderful.
Yes,
So what
for
would
sure.
be the advice you give some young women that are interested in renewables as careers?
Yes.
I would say, come on in, the door is open. I would, keep an eye out if you're in college. You're seeing a lot more college class opportunities that are teaching about renewables, teaching about climate-focused classes. I would say having a biology background, at least in the area of my role of environmental permitting, could be a big benefit because, having that understanding of impacts around different species, threatened and endangered species is really kind of helpful as you come into this industry. I would also say that I think most of the major players in renewables, they offer summer internships, and I think that's a great way to get your foot in the door, learn about the industry, get some real life experience. I know we have hired a number of our summer interns after they graduate to be full-time employees. So just some really good opportunities to keep an eye out for. But, I love this industry. I love my job. It's exciting. It's fun. You learn, you grow. So just definitely encourage women, men, everyone to come on in.
Good. What is your company focused on this year? What have been some key initiatives for this year?
Yeah, I think key initiatives is really just kind of finishing out executing on projects we closed on last year, which is going to be the largest clean energy infrastructure project in the U.S., the wind and transmission project. And yeah, this year we're just really continuing to focus more on developing solar projects in the Southeast, some more wind projects up in Illinois. And starting to learn about new technologies that we can get into. How can we put our foot in the ground in this industry and not get left behind as these new technologies are coming in. So I think we have a really good development pipeline coming up for us. So more to come and more development in New Mexico as well. It's a great state for us to be building in.
Are you guys using AI? Have you implemented AI technology?
The AI question.
Not but like it's on the cusp. I think we're having those conversations, right? Of like how could we figure this out to benefit our company? I think everyone across all platforms are trying to figure this out now and see how AI can benefit their company. It is a hot topic of conversation for sure. So not one that we're for sure not going to look at. We'll be looking at it.
Yes, and to me, so much of what you personally do is so political, like getting out there and talking to everybody in the municipalities that I don't know if AI is going to help you.
Yeah, there is something to be said of, and especially getting in, Dianne, with the local communities. It's just so important to have a presence there, have your face there. We are coming into these communities and we're going to be there for years and years. And so, we want to be a good neighbor. So, that's something AI can't do. You gotta be present, be in the community, be in the neighborhood, and be a good represent yourself.
Because like affordable housing, it's the NIMBYs. Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Lots of NIMBYs for sure.
Well, gosh, and Natalie, how can people reach you? How does it?
Yeah, I would say hit me up on LinkedIn is probably the best one. Message me. I mean, any interest you have, any questions, happy to take those calls.
Terrific.
Wonderful.
We appreciate that. So thank you, Natalie McCue, Vice President of Environmental Affairs with Pattern Energy Company. Thank you to our listeners. We appreciate you so much. Thank you to our sponsors, City National Bank, Nutanix, which is a cloud software company, Uncle Nearest, which is female-owned spirits company, Interpublic Group, advertising, media, and PR companies, and Executive Search and IT Consulting. We're putting Amplify is going to be C-Suite Search now, so C-Suite Search as part of C-Suite. And if you need anybody for your team, let us know. So thank you for listening.
Great. Thanks, Dianne.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank
Beth.
you.
Thank you.
Wait, we got to hit our subscribe button first. That's the last part. We're hitting our subscribe button. Apple, Spotify, anywhere you find your podcasts. Leave us a review. Follow us on social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. And we love hearing from you. Actually, send Beth an email.
Right, exactly.
Beth? at csweet.org. And our website, of course, is www.csweet.org. Come join us.
And thank you, Natalie, so much for today. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.